Live, you're live. Let's see if we get this over to the rabbi so he can start the class. There we go. Go ahead.
Should I close
Hello,
this?
YouTubers.
Hi, YouTubers, and thank you for joining us. We have a conference call that's trying to come in at the same time. Should I shut this?
No, I'm working with it. But you can slide it a little back so that it's not in the middle of your camera there.
Yep.
But be very careful. Let me do it. Does that help? This is not what you need. This is where YouTube is. And it's open and they're waiting for you. So start your class, please.
I did greet them. We hope to start any minute. Some people are trying to come in on a conference call to join us as well. And what we hope to have our topic for now, and it's going to be a topic for a good few weeks now, is preparing for Passover and the month of Nisan, which is this very, very festive month. This is a very happy month too. This is the month in which we celebrated the holiday of Purim. Here is something that's deficient. That's not deficient with Passover. In the case of Purim, even after the miracle and when the Jewish people were saved, the king changed his mind about us and gave us permission to defend ourselves. And we had spoken about the holiday of Purim and the different commandments with it. It's such a joyous month that even after the holiday, the entire month is permeated. It's absolutely, completely permeated with the joy of Purim. But here's the drawback. The drawback is even after the miracle and after we were saved, and Mordechai and Esther continued to be on our side to make sure that the Jewish people would be safe and safe. Even after that, we still were under a foreign ruler. So it was not what we call a complete redemption, a complete geula. The holiday of Passover, on the other hand, is celebrating a total and complete redemption from Pharaoh. I hope anybody can. Some people on the line, I'm glad. Yeah. Okay.
Shaffer, and I left a message for Chaim.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I left a text message for him too. So we were distinguishing now. We've got the YouTube on as well. I don't know if that works for you as well, but we got the YouTube and the conference call. Whatever's good for you, whatever works best for you.
Okay.
We were explaining just from the very get-go that there's a difference between the wonderful miracle and redemption of Purim and that of Passover. There's a very basic difference between them, which is why we say we're going from Geula to Geula, from one redemption to another. So I had mentioned that on the holiday of Purim, we celebrate the fact that our lives were spared. Mordechai and Esther continued, as indicated by the Megillah, to be defensive and protective of the Jewish people while they were alive, and they did the best that they could. It so happens that Esther actually did have a son with Ahasuerus, and his name was Darius, one of the Dariuses. There's a bunch of Dariuses, and he was instrumental in urging the Jewish people to build the second temple. There is a story in itself, which we surely don't have time for now. We'll try to salvage what we can. But at any rate...
Put the phone under the computer right there. On the top there. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you still hear me, Rabbi Frank?
No.
You want this open?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's doing something.
Oh, I didn't know it was doing. Okay. Yeah. So even after the wonderful Purim miracle and the salvation, there was something missing. And that something missing was that we're still under King Ahasuerus. Contrast that as we go from the redemption of Purim, which is a joyous month and joyous holiday, we're going to the redemption of Passover, which was a complete and total redemption, in which we were actually free, really totally free, of Pharaoh and all the enemies amongst the Egyptians. Just as Haman had his henchmen, his sons and his henchmen So did Pharaoh have plenty of people who were very, very severe to the Jewish people, unnecessarily, who didn't do anything negative to them. So we're going from Geula to Geula, from a partial redemption to a complete redemption in the holiday of Passover on the month of Nisan. Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. So what we're going to try to do now, with whatever time that we have, is to go into some of the changes on the holiday of Passover, but they start from the beginning of the month. The month is also a very festive month, not only because of Passover, but the dedication of the very first portable holy temple that we're reading about in our Torah readings. Our very Torah readings for this Shabbos uh, express that God said to set up the temple on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That's the month which has Passover in it. Rosh Chodesh Nisan. What had been happening was actually going on right now, this last week of Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu was instructed to set up the Mishkan each day. That's a huge amount of work. That was his job. All the manufacture and all the skilled work and all the handiwork to make the different parts and the priestly garments, that was done by others, as we learned in previous portions. Moshe Rabbeinu's job was to put the whole thing together amazingly, absolutely amazingly. And he had to do this each day of the end of the month of Adar, this last week, in which the various offerings, it was functioning already, it was functioning. Moshe was, you remember that there was a TV program, Queen for a Day?
I
Many
remember
years,
that.
there's an old program like that, maybe it's before some of our time. At any rate, they used to have different TV shows in which you could be a big cheese for one day. Moshe Rabbeinu was Cohen for 1 week. He was Cohen Gadol, and Cohen period for 1 week. And during that 1 week, which is the last week of Adar, the Mishkan was put together by himself, miraculously with God's help. I'll soon explain why. And then the various offerings, and there were certain ceremonies of anointing the Kohanim, which is Aaron. At that point, he had 4 sons still, as before the terrible incident took place. He had his 4 sons. The Kohanim were dedicated as well, and the Mishkan was put together, but one day at a time. It was set up for a day, and then Moshe was instructed to take it apart, and then set up again for the next day and take it apart until 1 week from today, which is Thursday, Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the Mishkan was put together, and Aaron took over the priesthood with his sons. Moshe Rabbeinu only had this temporary priesthood, etc. And then it ended. The story behind that we don't have time for, but at any rate, just understand that starting from Rosh Chodesh Nisan, we have a very, very festive month. And each day of the month of Nisan, from the beginning, not each day, but the first, close to the first half of the month of Nisan, a prince from each tribe had his day at the altar to represent his tribe with offerings that were brought, especially in honor of the dedication and sanctification of the portable holy temple. So this is going on. There are 12 tribes, as we can see, and on the 13th day, then the Mishkan was left standing, and of course you have the what was then. Yeah.
I wondered, can you remind me or remind us as the gifts of the Kohanim, the offerings of each tribe were identical? I know the paragraph
Yes.
was supposed to be during Hanukkah.
Yes, as a matter of fact,
I don't remember why they were the same. Something that was to reduce jealousy between them or something.
No, not jealousy. Thank God this time it wasn't jealousy. But each one brought the same offerings in various holy vessels as well as a gift to the Holy Temple. And the reason for the repetition not only is the fact that each one was the same, that it wasn't because of jealousy, it was actually the other way. that there's tremendous unity in that each tribe has its own special approach to Judaism, following, of course, the Torah. It's all within the guidelines of the Torah, but each and every tribe has certain things that it stressed. For instance, the tribe of Ruvain stressed the concept of being so close to God. It's like Re'iyah. It's almost you can see godly things, holy things. Shimon was like Shmiya, like hearing. Each tribe had its own specialty, as we see from the blessings of the different tribes too. So that's why it's repeated, even though it's a lot of paragraphs in the Torah, to show that each tribe has its own approach. Now, let me give an example that may help us a little bit in appreciating that. That we go into different I'm speaking about the Orthodox synagogues right now, and you know that there's an Ashkenaz siddur, there's a Sephardic siddur, there's a Chabad siddur, and many of the different Hasidic groups have their own siddur. Even in Boston, there's a Boston Hasidic center that they have their own siddur too. They have the Minhag Boston. So what am I trying to bring out? Of course, all of these siddurim are Orthodox. Of course, all of them can be used by all of us, but each one has a different focus. There's certain things that are stressed in that particular siddur and in the approach of that particular group. So that helps us understand at least a little bit of how you can have 12 tribes, one Torah, one written Torah, one oral Torah, but still, because of the differences in our souls, in our neshamos, there are different approaches. And a tribe, the whole tribe, this is interesting, the whole tribe, as a matter of fact, has that particular characteristic. Now we're kind of mixed up, and what we have is a common denominator that we're all the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And until the Mashiach will come and identify exactly what our tribe is, for the time being, we are doing the best we can. But once again, when the Mashiach comes, each tribe, first of all, will have our own piece of Eretz Yisrael. Each tribe, even Levi, even the Levites will have a piece, a portion of the land of Israel, and we'll have our opportunity to serve the Almighty at the third and final holy temple. And there again, the different tribes will be able to focus on their specialty. What we're talking about is a specialty. So I hope that answers your question. And that's why the gifts were the same and why they're repeated. Yeah. If you have,
I wanted to also mention, Rabbi Shaffer,
what is it?
One of the things that I had a great opportunity to meet the older husband from the Boston area.
Oh.
He was here in Baltimore for the first time.
Yeah.
And his name was Rabbi Barak Jaworski.
Oh.
That he's heard of the Randolphville area.
Yes. Oh,
He
yeah.
was his parents are still living there in Boston, apparently.
Oh, my
They're
goodness. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I did know a number of the Tversky family. I'm sure he was a Hasidic rabbi himself, this Rabbi Tversky. In fact, there's a famous Rabbi Tversky from Denver. He works what?
No, I don't know if he's from Denver, but he works for Rabbi Bierman in Eretz Israel. And he writes this Torah Wells pamphlet that Nasi Gross so kindly provides the Rabbi Shmuel this evil.
Yeah. The one from Denver passed away, but he was a very famous psychiatrist as well as Rebbe. Yeah. He's passed away since he was you may have heard of him.
I do know that family, but I don't know how he's related to this family. But he said that he was from the Boston area, and I mentioned that I learned with you and that you had a show in Randolph, and he sounded familiar to him somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, because of course it's so many years since I was away from it. Besides being away here in Dickinson, for a number of years I've been away in Baltimore. I was living in Baltimore for a number of years. Okay. If you have a siddur handy, thank you very much. If you have a siddur handy, this is one of the things I had meant to do anyway. And thank you for your very good question as well. If you have a siddur handy, what you can use is the Torah reading for Hanukkah. If you have that in your index, the Torah reading for Hanukkah, and then we could actually take a look at what you were talking about. And that means always so much more than just hearing about it. And I have a very specific reason for mentioning this too. Okay. Turn this up to. It's called the reading for the days of Hanukkah.
I have 492, but I think maybe it's earlier, possibly. It's
Yeah. So if you see that,
I haven't believe it. Yeah.
all right. So there's a practical reason for looking at this now. Starting from Thursday, a week from today, we begin to read the portion of each tribe. As far as they go, we read a portion of each tribe. And we see the beginning. Vahi biyom kalos Moshe Elokim es hamishkan. You see where that reading starts?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where we'll begin reading. This is something we can do privately in the synagogue. Some synagogues have someone read a Torah without the blessings, or it can be done at home.
Can I
So
interrupt
this is
for
to
a
read.
minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is the Zoom still open? Ask him.
Is the Zoom still open, Rabbi Frank?
No, Zoom is not open now.
Okay, if you don't mind to open it, because I'm still working on trying to get it
Robinson
open.
is trying to see that we can't get that going.
Yeah, if you want, I can put it back on if you want. Hang on.
Please.
Thank you very much.
I just have to think.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think I'm very close to getting it.
Okay, so I'm joining, but I'm going to put it on mute. And okay, it's open now.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we can continue, Rabbi Frank. So if you see where it says Vayibiyom Kalos Moshe, that's what we'll be beginning reading on a week from today. This is after the services, after the regular davening. And they don't take out the Torah for it. There are those who do, but not, with the Bahi Ben Surah, not with the blessings. They just read it from a Torah scroll, which is very nice. Some synagogues do that. If you want to take a look at the Levi, you see which is Levi, which would be the second Aliyah on that day. It says Vahi HaMakriv.
Right.
Vahi HaMakriv B'Yom HaRishon Es Korbanot. It was the one who offered on the first day. That's Rosh Chodesh Nisan. That's why we read it, because the dedication took place that first week and a half of Nisan. So his offering, the first one was Nachshon ben Aminadav Lamata Yehuda, a very famous man. Nachshon ben Aminadav was the first to jump into the sea before it split. The Almighty says, just tell the Jewish people, travel and go. And he jumped in, and he almost drowned. The water came up to his nose. That's as far as he could go. And then the Almighty split the sea. So we see that he was given a great honor to be the first. Not even Kohanim. He's the first to offer on behalf of his tribe. Okay, it looks like we're back in business. Thank you, Robertson.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to. What? Hang on a second.
I will, sure. I will certainly.
I was wondering, how do I, So the question is now, do you want to go back to Zoom or do you want to go on?
Is anybody else on the conference?
I'm on Zoom. I don't know if there's anybody else.
Somebody should
Is
call.
anyone else on the conference line?
I had to call Reb Chaim to tell him.
I think I'm the only person on the conference call.
All right, so
Okay.
go ahead and hang up. If he hangs up, you'll know if anybody else is there because it'll make
Okay, I
music.
think you can hang up and I'm on the screen.
So I'll let turn off the conference call then.
I don't think anybody else is going to join us now. Yeah.
Right, but wait and hear the music and then hang up.
You have to unmute your own screen. I can't do that for you apparently. And I'll undo mine.
Unmute.
There, okay.
Oh, good to see you. Very good. Okay,
And hear you.
Thank you.
Good,
Thank
good
Good to
job.
see you
So now
and
you
hear
need,
you.
I'll hang up the phone, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But I think it's still, Rabbi Shaffer, you need to unmute your, and then maybe
Yep,
the
you
screen
can
will
hang up
stop,
the phone.
After I mute,
Yeah, I don't know
my
what's going
fingers
on.
are muted.
I said hang up the phone.
Still not unmuted. Maybe Revison can help do that.
Trying
On
to tell you
the
that I'm muted.
on the lower left-hand corner of the screen, there's a
Trying to
mute
tell
button.
us.
That's impossible. Let me look. Oh, that stupid flickering is going on again. Ay, ay, ay. If it's not one thing, it's another. You think the pitchfork guy might not want us to study?
Mm.
The host would like you to
Mhm.
unmute.
No, I see. I still think you have to figure out how to. Oh, there it goes.
All right, that's at least that one.
Okay.
Right. Good.
I don't know
No,
what's going on with that, but a lot of times
I'm not sure what's going on with the picture either. It seems so strange that that's been happening in the last few weeks.
well, God, well, it stopped after a while. Hopefully that'll
Usually we just ignore it and it goes away after a
Yeah.
few minutes.
Hopefully it will.
just
Yeah.
check and make sure those
Yeah.
plugs are in good on the far side. Everybody's in good.
These are in good.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They're in
With
good.
God's help,
Okay, so we'll
please, Father.
try to continue with this a little bit. Your question is so pertinent to the laws of the month of Nisan. I'm just very thrilled. I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties that we're having today.
Get closer to the
I just wanna
computer
make sure.
possible.
I just want to make sure that we see what's being done here. On that Vahi HaMakriv, if you can see that once again.
Yes.
Mashim ben Aminadav represented.
Yeah.
He's the prince of his tribe. And he offers, I'll just go through it very quickly. He offers one silver vessel. There's a significance even to the weights. 130 shkolim is its weight. Mizrak echad kesef, one bowl of silver. Shivim shekel b'shekel kodesh, weighing 70 shkolim of silver. Shneim aleim solas. Both of them were filled with fine flour, lulav v'shemen l'mincha, for a meal offering. And there was one special spoon of, I guess I would call it a ladle, maybe a ladle I'll have to call it, made of gold, filled with incense. Now this is very unusual. Normally incense is only burned on the little altar inside the temple. This was burned on the outside. I just want to run through because they're all the same. Parechod, one bull ben bokor of the cattle. Ayalechod, one ram. Kebesachod ben shnosoli. So we have 3 full burnt offerings. There's a significance behind each and every one of those animals, which we don't have time for now. Sirizim echod lechatos, one young goat for a sin offering. Ulezevach hashlamim, and for the peace offering, bokor shnaim, 2 cattle. Elam kamisha, 5 rams. Atudim kamisha, and then there's 5 goats. Kavosim ben Ishona kamisha, and 5 lambs. Zeh korban Nachshon ben Aminadav. This is the offering of Nachshon ben Aminadav. Each one of the princes offers the same animals, the same gifts. Everything is exactly the same as you had mentioned. And this is to show us that even though physically things seem the same, each tribe has its spiritual emphasis and kavanos, as we mentioned, the different sidurim from different shows. Now you do that for the first 12 days of the month of Nisan, each of the princes. On the 13th of Nisan, as I mentioned this now, take a look at the end of all those paragraphs. You see it says Zos Kanukas HaMizbeach. This is the dedication of the altar. Again, this is the first week and week and a half of Nisan. And then the paragraph totals all the gifts from the princes. And then it goes on and it crosses into the next portion, which is the portion of Baal Loscha. This is at the end of Naso. And it mentions the lighting of the candelabra by Aaron. Aaron is not mentioned amongst the 12 princes. He is the prince of the tribe of Levi, but he and his tribe did not offer on those days. And therefore we see that at the very end it mentions that Aaron had the special mitzvah to light the candelabra. So this is in full line with what we were going to cover today. We have a few more minutes, so I'll try to get in a few more of the customs. I'm going to quote now from the Chabad calendar because our time is short, so I'm just going to take some of the.
But you have to take up a little of the time that was wasted.
I can't because they have to go to shul.
Oh,
so we have It's a whole different story now. That's why we both tried to start in time. Best we could.
Wow.
So the whole month of Nisan, and this will be starting from Wednesday afternoon. That's this coming Wednesday. We don't recite the Tachnan prayers. As we see, the first half of the month is celebrating the dedication of the original portable Holy Temple. Then, of course, you have the holiday of Passover. It comes out that most of the month is involved with celebration and wonderful, wonderful closeness with the Almighty, and it's all connected with redemption. As we know, the portable Holy Temple signified that God forgave us for the sin of the golden calf. And so that's redemption too. That's a big redemption, and He returned His Spirit to us on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. While Moses was offering the week before, the Almighty did not have His Spirit dwell. Only when Aaron took over as official high priest and his sons as the regular priests on that day, Vahi Bayom Hashmini is one of our portions, and it was on the 8th day, Parsha Shmini, that Aaron took over. And that's when the Almighty Spirit returned to the Jewish people. And that was a tremendous festive occasion as well. So what we have is a month of wonderful Torah festivities, not getting drunk, not just sleeping late. It's a month of holiness, of good rejoicing, of the wonderful things that the Almighty does with us. This time it's permeated by the holiday of Passover, especially, of course, whereas this month was permeated with Purim. So going from Geula leGeula, from redemption to the complete and final redemption. So because the month is so festive, we do not recite the Tachnan prayer, which means the services in the show in the morning and the afternoon will be shorter because of the Tachnan prayers being omitted. What are the Tachnan prayers? Just take a minute so we understand this law. Tefillah basically means begging, like begging for forgiveness, asking for grace. It's grace. I don't know if you know, grace actually means, please help us, God, even if we don't deserve it. That's the idea of grace, actually. Cain, which God loves us very dearly. And because this month is so festive, the prayers in which we recount our sins, that doesn't mean we're not supposed to sin this coming month. It means that to recite these prayers and ask for forgiveness, and it brings up, let's put it this way, some negative feelings of our mistakes. This is omitted the entire month, so the services are shorter. This Shabbos, of course, we are blessing the new moon, and we will not be reciting the whole month of Nisan. We will not be reciting the Av HaRachamim, which is before Musaf on Shabbos morning, and Sitkoska, which is recited on Mincha, at Mincha. But that's omitted for the entire month. Both of them have to do with some severe things. Av HaRachamim is asking God to remember all the martyrs, all the Jewish people, unfortunately, through all the centuries who were martyred, etc. And Sitkoska is declaring the Almighty's righteousness, that no matter what He does, we understand it's the right thing to do. So,
is it a special parsha this week before Rosh Chodesh Nisan?
Yes, I hope to go into that too. We have this Shabbos is going to be 3 Torah readings, Vayakhel and Pekudei. I was able to cover it partly during our parsha class before you were actually back in business. We have Vayakhel and Pekudei. We're going to be chanting Chazak, Chazak, V'nes Chazek as we finish the last 2 portions of the book of Exodus. And just to take a minute or two to summarize this, very long readings. Vayakhel illustrates the Jewish people actually building the portable Holy Temple. The earlier portions Moses was commanded. Now in these last 2 portions, the Jewish people are actually doing the construction, putting it together. And Vayakhel has for the most part, the different parts of the portable Holy Temple. Pekudei has the manufacture of the priestly garments. Then, at the end of Pekudei, the Jewish people, very proud of what they accomplished. They worked feverishly hard. They got the commandment to do this build a portable holy temple, priestly garments, and have services in the wilderness. They got all this on the day after Yom Kippur. That's when Moshe Rabbeinu came down with the second set of tablets. He got a complete forgiveness from God. By Yom Hashem, God said, Salachti Kidvarecha, I have forgiven you as your words, Moses. And then the Jewish people, here's your opportunity. You messed up big time with the golden calf. God did not want to remain with us. He says, I'll forgive him, but I'll send an angel. Moshe Rabbeinu said, forget it. If you're not going to forgive the Jewish people, erase me. Don't even take us away from Sinai desert. Nothing will please us. Nothing is worthwhile unless you come back personally. You, Hashem, come back personally. So God said, you want me to be close to you again and dwell in your midst as I did when I took you out of Egypt? Before you mess up, make for me this tabernacle and I will join you. The main thing is to dwell within us. So you can imagine that the people, I'll let you go in a minute or so, the people were absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity, and they worked with tremendous fervor, tremendous earnestness, and tremendous speed, and tremendous energy, because here's your chance to make good. As I gave the example on Tuesday, as kids, as parents, sometimes we really did something really rotten, and we may have embarrassed our parents, even embarrassed them in public, and then we regretted it enormously, but what's done is done. Then they ask us to do something for them. You run to do that to show them that you're very regretful as your mistake from before. And now that they're giving you something good to do, a positive good thing to do for them, you run to do it. So that's what was happening. The Jewish people were so anxious to build this that the Almighty told Moshe, don't build it on Shabbos. As important as it is, and as anxious as you are to get this thing, this wonderful project done with the donations and the construction and all the different skills, etc., don't do it on Shabbos. Everything has its place. Certain things do supersede the Sabbath, but not this. So with that, maybe I'll let you go. All right, let me just finish your question. So the first Torah reading is about Yakel, with the building of the tabernacle, Pekudei with the priestly garments. Then Hashem tells Moshe, on the first day of Nisan, I want you to put the temple together. That's where it's going to stand. And that's how the second book of the 5 books of Moses ends, with Hashem's Shekhinah returning to the Jewish people. Now, the second Torah reading, you're going to be in shul for a while this Shabbos. Plan on it for a while. The second Torah reading is called Parshas HaChodesh. It's also from the book of Exodus, Parshas Bo. I want to tell you this. I don't have time to go through it now. I really wanted to. But Parshas HaChodesh gives us all the laws of Passover in one chapter. If you look at it carefully, and maybe we'll have more time during the week, if we look at it carefully, it goes all through all the laws of Passover, the Paschal Lamb, the preparation of matzah, the prohibition against chametz, and even mixtures of chametz, which are forbidden. So I got to let you go. And thank you very much. It was wonderful to see.
What's the third Sefer Torah?
It's not a third Sefer Torah, but it's a third Torah portion. Reading. It's a third portion. Vayakel and Pekudei are in the first Torah, and then the
third portion is the Parshat Kodesh.
That's the Parshat Kodesh, and the special Haftorah too. Yeah.
Right. Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Robert.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for keeping things going, and I mean everything, including the Zoom too. Thank you very much. Okay. Be well. Take care.
All right. Take care. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
You too. You too.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you on Sunday, Mitzvah Hashem.
Mitzvah Hashem.
Yes, Hashem. Thank you for getting it going here. Good. Okay. I just want another thing. Everything is today. I had written out as best I could the order for Rabbi Abraham. I'm not sure when you're supposed to type that in, but I do have it for you.
Talk to me again. What?
Yeah, I had written out as you requested me the order for Rabbi Abraham. I'm not sure when you're supposed to type it into him.
Ah. Ah. So what you're going to do is, when we have time for that, which is going to have to be after my class, or
Unless you want to do it
we
now.
got to close the
If you
YouTube.
want, yeah, you want to type it in because it's not
Just
that
a
long.
minute, husband.
Okay, good. I know he was very
Thanks
anxious
for
to have
coming
it.
in, YouTubers. Hope you enjoyed my husband's class. That was part 1. Part 2 will start at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time with my portion of biblical laws. So, may it be the Almighty's will that that'll be a great class, and that will be on time. No. Anyway, shalom, shalom. Hope to see you a little later. We had to break it into 2 portions because the men have different hours that they daven or pray at the end of the day, and it all depends on sunset. And then we had a time change which added to it, so that's why things had to be like this. Anyway, hope to see you later. Shalom, shalom.